There's a bit more to learn about the non-stop debates. I'd like to hear more. Absolutely. From here on out, the numbers of weak spot will start going up. But no matter what, how many weak spots, there essentially only one lie or contradiction in the debate. What I'm trying to say is that not all weak spots you see are necessarily false. Use the truth bullet on the wrong one. Not only will you counter refute what they said, you'll also lower thrust off with everyone your first gaze will take damage. Okay. Now this is the important part, because if your influence gauge reaches 0, you fail. You'll have to rely on your own logic to determine which weak spots are actual lies and prediction.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room.
Yeah.
She then fled into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Then the killer ran after her. And they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door, because Sayaka had locked it.
Wasn't locked.
The reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with walking bathrooms, right?
Exactly.
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck. Huh? What are you talking about? My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door, that's not lucky at all.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck.
Yep.
But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
Unless something
The killer
changed.
could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
The killer was convinced the bedroom door was locked. Didn't know the door couldn't be locked. Actually, couldn't be locked. That was the important detail about the scene. It took place
I got it!
in my room.
The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable.
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms. Which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then
Then there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through!
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door opened.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is...
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
That
So
is
the killer
the
would have
obvious
to be
truth.
someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms?
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
Exactly. But I've been trying to tell you people.
Okay, then who did do it?
I'm sorry, but I give up. Quit without saving.
But
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules.
sorry, but no.
Majority rules? Do you really think that's a good idea?
It's not.
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something. For serious.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I do have one question.
Oh, you...
You don't gotta sound so disappointed.
No, right?
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Huh.
Yes.
True.
How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
That's impossible because we found the key in the room.
Maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy way. They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Miss Maizono just let him in.
No, that can't be it either.
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place. Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
Because she asked me to do something particular because how frightened she was. But that's right, the answer is right there. No way she let someone in because... Oh, right?
I got it! Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place.
Yeah.
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
Except...
What if her being scared was a lie?
Huh? Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something
somehow
like that?
knew
I
she
know
was
you don't
lying.
want to consider it.
Don't know
But
why.
look at
I
this
just...
and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility?
This was something that I didn't trust. There's something I want to talk to you about. Just us two. In 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the nameplate, make sure you don't get the wrong room.
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil. And these are the words that appear.
Oh man!
Nameplates.
I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. Danganronpa.
and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room. Huh? Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room
Look at
before
his
the incident
face.
could have written it.
Alright.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
So,
Exactly.
Makoto, did you write this?
No, I didn't.
But of course you didn't. Because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
I didn't trust her. I somehow knew.
But why?
Like I wrote it, yeah.
Why would she write that? The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone.
The person that kills
She
her.
must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Why do you think that?
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say?
Yes, please.
Very well then. Pay attention. Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
Yeah?
But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically said, my room.
Yeah.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in.
What if they were switched?
The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Yep.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Nope.
Right? Okay, then who did it?
There's only one person who could have switched them. And the person is Sayaka.
Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
Yeah, there's something she wants to talk about. And look for specifically check the nameplate.
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate.
Yeah.
She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you'd switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her. We figured it out! We know who did it! Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
You're cute, but
we still don't know who it is, you
goddamn, you're
idiot.
dumb. So dumb.
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
Yeah, but
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
The reason I know the wrist was broken because of dust on it, right?
I got it! All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen, there's something glittery there. See?
Is that gold?
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword, right there on her wrist!
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
All right, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
Yes, it is. What happened in my room? What led to Sayaka's death? That's what we need to make clear. There's a bit more about non-stop debate that you... Would you like to hear more? I cannot speak. Are getting used to these non-stop debates? No. Starting with the next debate, I'll start loading multiple true bullets into your true cylinder. But just like with the weak spots, only one of those bullets can actually refute the proper statements. In other words, from here on out, I'll have to combine the right true bullets with the right weak spots to refute each statement. Yeah, I think I can get that. If you come up with a wrong combination, you'll take damage to your influence gauge. You can press the Q key to rotate the cylinder, choose which bullet to fire. Press and release the Q key to cycle through each bullet. Or you can use the mouse wheel. By the way, if the logic difficulty is set to kind, your bullets will be loaded into the cylinder. For our purposes, this time, the logic difficulty will be set to mean. How dirty. Well then, good luck and have fun. Damn, that music is good.
The fighting broke out. The culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt.
Yeah?
The sword-based sneak attack.
And that's what broke Miss Maizono's wrist.
So, she tried to fight back. She grabbed the kitchen knife she had hidden away.
But then the culprit took that from her too.
And they killed her with it.
And that's exactly what happened.
Oops. That's what I wanted to do. There's evidence of being scratched by a sharp object, so it means that it wasn't got damaged. Person with the sword did attack first. And for a separate part of the sword to be damaged.
The culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
It wasn't a sneak attack.
Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Why not?
Because the sword's sheath had been scratched. See? There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Like a knife.
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife?
Exactly.
That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead. Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
Oh, you poor
If the
soul.
sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get
Which
damaged?
means
If they got
you
attacked with the kitchen
get
knife,
your
maybe they grabbed the
hands
sword
covered
as a
in gold.
defensive impulse.
But she
In
didn't
that
have any
situation,
gold on
there
it.
wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
Yeah.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which Saika had.
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
Which means
I
Saika.
get it. So here's how it all played out. The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening. So she grabbed the sword to defend herself, but then the culprit took that from her too. Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and finished it.
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
Personally, yeah.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Yeah, well,
She
just
never
look
held
at her
the sword
hands.
at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
Her hands! The part of body shows she never used a sword. All of her hands.
You're talking about her palms, right? The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it.
Touch.
In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
No, that's not it at all.
This girl, I have a problem. Saika washed the gold coating off her hand because there's a regulation.
I got it!
Water's off at
According to the
nighttime.
Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m. In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at nighttime, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower here yet.
What?
You're no different. You smell like a big fat ugly donkey.
Hmm? I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
An insult?
Obviously.
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword.
Yeah.
But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
Sayaka. Sayaka.
I got it!
Sayaka was the one.
She had the kitchen knife?
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka.
Sayaka?
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
she originally
No,
wanted
far
to
from it.
kill.
It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own.
I wanted to get out of here.
She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation,
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct? The reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
What a devilish witch.
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates.
I knew we couldn't
She
trust
wanted
her.
to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room where she was staying.
I
And by
don't know
committing the
why.
murder there,
I
instead
just
of her room,
never really
that
trusted
meant to
her.
hit Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior. I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
And since she's an ultimate pop star,
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid. Or a national superstar. Who are you more likely to believe?
exactly.
Wait, then you're saying she had this all planned out?
Yep.
Holy shit!
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she planned to murder.
Yep.
Just hold on! That can't be true!
We'll just face the
Because-
truth.
Because...
Hey, hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument. You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it. Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time?
Oh, shut it,
We
Bear.
gotta decide who we think did it.
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
It's really all over. Honestly, I'm committed to find out who the killer is. But what can I do? I mean, as far as clues go, there's nothing left. Not true? There's one thing left. The dying message.
It's easy just to say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues, right?
That's not true. There's more clues.
there still might be one clue left. Sayaka's dying message.
Dining? Wait, what did you say?
The dying message. She wrote something on the wall behind her, remember? 11037. Written in her own blood. There
Or
must
if
be
you
a
look
clue about the
correctly,
killer hidden in there.
Leon!
Before we get too far into that, I need to ask, can we really be sure that Sayaka is the one who wrote it?
There's no question.
I got it! Her left index finger had blood on it. That could only be because she used that finger to write the message.
I see. She broke her right wrist during the fight, so she'd have to use her left hand to write.
Sure. I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it. But still, What the heck do those numbers mean? 11037?
Hey, Chihiro. You're a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
No, that's not... Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course. It's because they're not numbers.
Oh, yeah, it looks like...
Huh? What? What?
No, it's just... look at the numbers, assuming they're not numbers. Don't these first two, 1-1, look less like two numbers and more like one letter?
Ah, you're right. The connecting line is barely there, so I assumed it was 1-1, but looking at it now, you could also read it as an N.
Whoa, you might have finally just said something worth a shit.
Our little gray cells are really getting excited now.
But even if that really is an N037, doesn't make any more sense than before.
It's no use. I just don't know. Oh, come on. Will these buffoons find out what the numbers mean? Find out next time on Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. If you liked it, please consider subscribing or liking the video. And I'll see you all next time. Masky out.